Cover Me Up by Jason Isbell is in drop D tuning and is capoed on the 1st fret. Now I've seen live versions of him playing this capoed on the 2nd fret, actually playing in the real key of E, but the album version is seemingly capoed on the 1st fret, so that's what I'm playing here. The intro is going to rely on some hammer-ons and a descending melody out of a D, moving out of the D into a G. The way that you're going to play your D is you're going to take your 1st finger and put it on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, relative to our capo. So 3rd string, 2nd fret, you're going to put your ring finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and then you're going to leave the 1st string open. And you're going to strum across all the chords to give, or all the strings rather, to give a nice open feel with this drop D. It's not going to be a really assertive strum, like it's not going to be really boastful. If you listen to the album version, the opening strum really emphasizes more of the hammer-on rather than all the strings. So as you're strumming down into your D, you're going to, with your pinky finger, hammer on to the 3rd string, 4th fret, from where you've got your 1st finger fretting on the 2nd fret, and you get a that's the hammer-on that you're wanting to emphasize, but you're doing it while strumming across the D chord. So you've got, and you kind of hit both of those notes with your downstroke picking hand. Then you open up the 3rd string by picking up your 1st finger. So those are your first 3 movements. And then put your 1st finger back down where it just was on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and also lay down your pinky finger on the 4th string, 4th fret, and strum across the 5th string down to the bottom. So you've got those are your first movements, and then out of that you're going to hit again on this same formation that you've got here, and then you're going to pick up your 1st finger and move it to the 4th string, 2nd fret, and pick up your pinky finger, and then you're going to pick up your 1st finger and open up the 4th string. So you've got, and then the next chord is going to be the G. The way that you play the G chord, usually it would look like this, right? But you're in drop D, so this is not a G. This is like some weird F. That doesn't sound good at all. So the way that you're going to make your G is you're going to move your ring finger to the 6th string, 6th fret. You're going to put your pinky finger back on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And I just said 6th string, 6th fret, that was the real 6th fret, I guess, relative to the capo. It would be the 5th fret, keeping it relative to the capo. But ring finger on the 6th string, 5th fret relative to the capo, and put your 1st finger back on the 2nd string, 3rd fret relative to the capo, and that is your G chord. Your 5th string will be muted out. You don't want for this 5th string to ring out because that A is not in the G chord. You don't want that. So it will kind of be muted by how you're laying your ring finger across the 5th string. And you've got that nice G ringing out. It's okay if you let the 1st string ring out. So again, to recap our movement. G. And then the way that you execute that is you're going across the G chord, then you're taking your 2nd finger and putting it on the 5th string, 4th fret relative to the capo, and then picking the open 4th string behind it. So again, and then fall back into the D. And those are your movements. In the D, once it's there, you'll hear him strike through the open first string and then hammer on with your second finger to the open first string, hammer down to the second fret. This is a really lazy strumming rhythm too, that constantly emphasizes the downbeat for most of the chords. So really your movement, your main thing is this, the downbeat. But what you're going to hear Jason Isbell doing is randomly adding in some up. So it's mainly emphasizing downs with sporadically, kind of lazily sprinkling in some jingly ups in your higher register strings. Occasionally, after the main riff, after the D, you'll hear a hammer-on that instead of takes place on the first string second fret, you'll hear him strike the open fifth string, hammer on with your first finger to the fifth string second fret, and then hit the open fourth string behind it, and you get, and then after that you would immediately go back into the low D. And sometimes I'm executing that maybe with my second finger, just because that's kind of easier for me, but I think Jason Isbell does it with his first finger. And then whenever it goes to, I guess it's a pre-chorus, it goes to a B minor, standard B minor, then to a G chord, the one that we discussed earlier, and back to the D. Back to the main riff. Whenever it gets to, I'm guessing we can call it the chorus, there's another change to an E minor. Now usually your E minor would expose an open sixth string, but since we are in drop D, you can't expose your open sixth string. So instead what he does is he frets the sixth string on the second fret relative to the capo with his, I'm guessing probably second finger, and then with your ring finger put it down on the fifth string second fret, and that's going to be our E minor feel. And you can strum through all the strings on this. That's your E minor, and it moves from the E minor into a G, but before it gets to the G, it walks up to it, meaning that it hits the sixth string fourth fret relative to the capo, and then comes up into the G. And the way it does that is your E minor, and then notice how I did that with my ring finger, knowing that I was about to pull up into the G that we learned earlier anyway. So E minor, walk, G, and then it goes to a B minor, and then back into the main riff. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how to approach this Jason Isbell song, Cover Me Up.